Hello and welcome to Sports Update on Trust TV. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. We've got you covered this evening with a whole lot of stories happening in Paris Olympic Games. We're looking at Team Nigeria. And yes, it is a cherry news coming in from France, Paris, where eventually we've had good news to take to the bank as we speak. The DTigress this afternoon did Nigerian proud. This morning precisely made us proud on the morning show. We actually talked about it in the morning when the DTigress were in action against Australia. But at the end of the day, yes, the African team, the darling DTigress, mean business. And I have Omonile Lasson joining me this evening. Welcome to Sports Update on Trust TV.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
All right, straight to business. This morning, the DTigress put smile on our faces after the disappointment from Super Falcons, our table tennis team, our boxer Olalore losing his fight. But the DTigress say no. Enough is enough. Let's give the 200 million Nigerians something to cheer about and something to hold. They did that against the third best team in the world.
Yes, I think that there are so many layers to that story that makes it so amazing. First of all, it's a win that has been a long time coming. We have been waiting for this win for a long time, not just in this particular tournament, but over the years from the Tigers. And then you see we have had this losing streak, if I may. but all of a sudden now we have a wonderful win, and it's not just them winning the match, but winning against such an opponent. It gives you that confidence boost. And then, of course, as Nigerians, we're always looking for a reason to be happy. We're always looking for a reason to cheer. And oh my God, we got that.
Yes, a reason to cheer. That game ended in favor of Nigeria 75 with, I think, 9 points gap between the DTigress and the Opals of Australia. In the first quarter, it was a sounding victory. If we can have the stats of that game, I think the stats, we have the stats. If I can have the match stats, so that we look. In the first quarter, the DTigress actually showed business. They showed that, yes, they meant business. They are in for business. And they blew the Australians away in the first quarter of the game.
Absolutely. I mean, there's an old saying that you start the way you mean to go on. And they started from hitting. They started hitting the mark early, and that's what you want from your team. You know, from early on, get your games and get your points in, and that's what they did. I'm so proud. You can see my smile is different this evening, and I'm so grateful that we're here, and I'm looking forward to more victories, more resounding victories, if I may.
Okay, more resounding victories, as you can see in your screen, 75-62. That game actually ended in favor of the DTigress. But let's look at this this way. This team actually played a couple of friendly games. They played 3 friendly games against Germany, against Serbia, and against Japan. The first 2, those friendly games, they actually lost, but they didn't lose scandalously.
Yes.
They, at least we saw sign that, yes, this team is battle ready. Yes. When they won the AfroBasket 2023, they did not drop any point. They did not lose any game.
Yeah.
And after that friendly games, a lot of persons were saying, okay, I think the Super Falcons might not have what it takes to go out of Group B.
Well, you see, if you look at
the DTigress, not Falcons now.
Yeah, I was just about to say that the DTigress. First of all, we don't put too much. We put too much stock into friendly games. Friendly games are where you're supposed to come in and sharpen your skills. Try some new tactics, see what works and what doesn't work, so you can make appropriate changes. But then you also have to be cognizant of the fact that the teams that they played were not small teams, so to speak. These are very good basketballing nation, especially Serbia, for example. It's a very good basketballing nation, and they showed it. And what you can be happy about as a fan of the Nigerian team, the DTigress, is that they probably took their lessons from all those losses, and when it mattered on the stage that actually counts,
the biggest stage,
they proved themselves. I mean, the dream of every athlete is to perform at the Olympics, and that's what they have done.
Yes, and that's what they have done. At the end of the day, the DTigress smiled home with that big win, 75-62. The stats shows it all. In the first quarter, it was 18 points for Nigeria, DTigress of Nigeria in the first quarter of that game, and then the second quarter, they actually the Australian close up on the third third quarter, the Australian took it, and going to the last quarter, the fourth quarter, that is where Ami Okonkwo came into the party. 3-pointers, as if it was like what Kevin Durant did yesterday for the United States of America. I see the 3-pointers from Kevin Durant. It was just, you know, when you master something so well, it looks like a child's play.
Yes.
Look at in the first quarter of that game, 14 points from Kevin Durant, all from 3-pointers.
Yes, I mean, like you said, when you've mastered something, you make it look easy, you know. And I think that's, for me as a sports fan, that's what excites me. When your superstar is doing it, and then you almost feel like you can do it too, right? So it kind of inspires you. I mean, Kevin Durant was dropping 3 points like it was no man's business.
It was no man's business, and I think that is what Ami Okonkwo actually looked at yesterday and said, yes, we can do it against the third best team when it comes to women's basketball in the world. They still have a date with host country France, and then they'll be playing Canada in that group, and the DTigress of Nigeria putting smiles on our face despite the disappointment we got from table tennis, from boxing, and then the Super Falcons. To me, the Super Falcons, let's just talk about that a little bit before we move ahead to the next story. For the Super Falcons, it wasn't really a disappointment in my own point of view, just that the goals didn't come.
Well, you're right in a lot of respect, and then when we're going into the competition, when you look at that group, I see that we're playing Brazil, we're playing Spain. You kind of want to lower your expectations a little bit, but then I think they put in work. The scorelines went so outrageous, and if you look at the match, the one that we just recently lost to Spain, we created some few chances that you are thinking maybe we could have converted one or two of them, and then the game might have turned out differently. But kudos to the girls, I think. And there's still a slim chance for them. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens for the Super Falcons. They might still go through. And the DTigress getting that point in their first game against the Opals of Australia. They have a date with Canada, France, the host country. Against the host country, it's going to be a big one. Playing the host country, massive.
Of course. In any competition, I don't care where it is, in any stage, once you are playing against the host country, be prepared for animosity, be prepared to give your best, be prepared that whatever points you are taking out of that competition will be by your blood and your sweat. So expect the worst. But of course, I'm sure they are motivated, they are encouraged by the win. So anything can happen in the game of sports.
Anything can happen in the game of sport. We saw a miracle happening between Zambia and Australia in the women's football event. From 5 goals down, from 5 goals up, it ended 6-5 against the Copa Queens of Zambia. So the DTigress playing France, you have shown that yes, you are the team to beat in that group. It's good that the DTigress tell them we are here for business. Congratulations to Rena Wakama, Ami Okonkwo, and every player in the DTigress team making us proud. Still talking about the Olympics, let's go straight to table tennis. Also, this morning, while the DTigress were getting a win, table tennis star Fatima Bello crashed out of the table tennis event, that is in the singles event, where she lost a 4-love to French player Nan Jianyuan. She's not a real French player, but she's playing for the French table tennis team, that's Team France, at the Paris Olympic Games. I think she's a Chinese, but representing France, and it was 4-love smashing. Though this is her first outing at the Olympic Games.
Well, first of all, I think the French would disagree with you that she's not French. Once you win, everybody accepts you, everybody brings you in.
Of course.
You see that embrace coming in. And I think from the moment she qualified, that was a win for us as a nation. I mean, I remember the last qualifying match, a lot of people were not really expecting her to go all the way, but she did it. And, well, if you are able to go to the Olympics, I had a very funny story. Someone said, if you come last in a 100-meter dash, you are not the last person in the world. You are the 8th best athlete.
Yes, of course.
In the world. So that's another perspective to look at it. Qualifying is a victory in its own. Being able to come on the world stage and prove yourself is a victory in its own. And I'm thinking maybe in the next competition, maybe in another era, if she's able to prove herself, the nerves will have calmed down a little bit, and she'll be, know what to expect. And let's not forget, beating an Asian in table tennis, He's the eighth wonder of the world.
He's the eighth wonder of the world, because that's going to be an Herculean task. But still talking table tennis, Aaron Akadri, African #1, crashed out. The second guy, Olajide, crashed out. Now we have Ofyonge them crashing out, and then Fatima Bello crashing out.
I think for a long time the Quadri has been our shining star
when it comes to table
tennis. But unfortunately, this was not our show. This is not our outing. Who knows? Maybe at some point we'll have Ayo in the Olympics, and then we'll be able to prove ourselves. But table tennis has not favored us in this one. Let's see what happens in other sports, and let's see what happens in other competitions.
Okay, let's see what happens in other competition. The track is due to start on the 1st of August. That is where our hopes lies when it comes to the track. And we just have Toby Amuson. He said, Brume actually proved my guest wrong on the morning show that yes, in the track, Favour Phillips can do something. Let's forget about that. I think Nigerian athletes are up for it this time around. This particular Olympic Games might just be a different one for us. We might do better than what we did at the Atlanta 1996.
Of course, we are hopeful. I mean, what you want at the end of the day is to do better. You know, surpass your past. I mean, as a country of over 200 million people who love sports. I mean, you can take a walk on your street and see everybody is playing one form of sport or another. We are excited about this thing. We are passionate about this thing. You expect us to do better, make improvements in every competition. So, of course, we are hopeful, and we have seen some glimmers of hope from some of our contingent out there. And we'll be cheering for them till the end. Okay,
we'll be cheering for them to the end of it. We still have badminton. African #1 player, badminton player, that is Anulu Akpokpeyo is there. We have Chukwe Bukainekwechi in shot put. We have Chioma Onyekwere in discus. We have Temitope Adeshina in high jump. S.A. Brumen for long jump. We have Rutu Soro also for long jump. We have the likes of Favour Phillips, 100 meters and 200 meters. Toby Amuson, the world record holder, world champion, African champion, Commonwealth champion, also in the women's 100 meters. Although we have Ezekiel Nathaniel 400 meters, we have Chidi Okezie in the 400 meters. Also Ezekiel Nathaniel, Samuel Ogazi and co. Sikiru Adeyemi, the 4x4, the 4x1, the 4x1 for women, the 4x1 for men. We will be showcasing 4 relay teams when the track event starts on August 1st. So all hope is not lost. And for the Super Falcons also, they can go to the quarterfinals through the back door. Whatever happens, Canada women are under the big investigation, because right now they have been sanctioned. 6 points will be deducted from them in their 2 games. And that means Super Falcons just beat Japan, and you will be waiting. Probably you might just find the Super Falcons playing in the quarterfinal. For the DTigress, they have started well, and they have Canada, France to play in their group. So we still have a lot of hopes, a lot of events, 12 events Nigeria will be participating in at the Paris Games. We saw the medals table in the morning. Probably as we speak, some medals are still coming in, but at the end of the day, by tomorrow morning show, you are going to see the medals table where it is now. But for Nigeria, we're still expecting our medals, but come on the 1st of August, that is where we'll start looking at. Maybe we'll be getting 1 or 2 medals. Moving ahead on the show this evening, let's come back home and talk MPFL. It is the Under-17 MPFL Youth League, where about 50 players are in camp, and 23 of them will be traveling out of the shores of the country for European tours, Spain precisely. And the MPFL thought it wise that this man you seen on the screen, Coach Landa Boso, a man who's joined Baisa United, should be leading this team. And a lot of persons don't really like his decision, the decision of choosing Landa Boso to lead this crop of players to Europe.
I humbly disagree with that opinion. I don't know why people are skeptical of Landa Boso. I am a big fan of Landa Boso, actually. And I've been following him for quite some time. I mean, as far back as 2007, I believe. I'm a big fan of him. And I think, besides names like Samson Siasia, for example, you almost couldn't find any underage age competition coach in Nigeria that is better than Landa Boso. In this sense, you know he has a pattern. There is a defined pattern with which Landa Boso plays, and I feel like as a country, we need to have a specific pattern which we play. So if we continue on that path, maybe the football is not nice enough for some viewers. That's okay. That you can bring in those opinions. But to question Ladamboso's credibility, I don't think it's fair.
Okay, let's look at it this way. For the under-17, we have Coach Manu Gaba, and we believe that some persons believe, from feelers I got from some persons, Coach Manu Gaba would have been in the best position leading this crop of players, because they are under 17, and most of them will make the under 20, and they will also play in the Super Eagles. Ladamboso coach are under 20, and the option of Ladamboso, not Manu Gaba, is what people are not really comfortable with.
Yeah, like I said, well, everybody is entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah,
and either men will have been outstanding choices. But look at England, for example. Their most successful coach in recent history is Gareth Southgate. One thing that's working for Gareth Southgate is that he came up with some of this crop of players. He coached them from the youth stage. A lot of them played under him at their youth stage, and now he's doing very well with them at the national team. Even though now he has left them, and I think we can expect the same from Ladamboso. Who knows if he does very well right now? Maybe by the time these guys are old enough to play for the under 20, he might still be with them, and then they will have a recognized pattern, a recognized system that they can go on and do very well in maybe a world competition. I mean, we do very well in these competitions, under 17, under 20. Those are our bread and butter, and I expect us to do very well.
Okay, you expect us to do well. They will be going on European tour, and that will be Spain. Coach Ladamboso will be leading them. 50 players are in camp. At the end of the day, 23 will be selected, with two on standby, and at the end of the day, we'll go to Europe. How what it is, you're exposed to some of the best facilities, go to some academies, see what it is, let them have a feel of playing some competition. They'll be playing some competition right there in Spain, and coming back, these players would be at least find themselves in the cadet national teams here in Nigeria, that is under 20, under 17, and probably graduate to the Super Eagles. All right, moving ahead on the show, let's go straight to the Glasshouse. NFF Falconets get bonuses, allowances for 2022 under 20 Women's World Cup. At the end of the day, after 2 years, this money is being paid to these girls.
Well, unfortunately, we still have news like this in our sport, unfortunately. I mean, I guess there are two ways you can look at this story. Oh, finally, they are getting paid. People are, I mean, a good alert right now is a great idea. You never say no to a credit alert. But then it's unfortunate that it has taken
as if that credit will come to us.
Well, you rejoice with those who are rejoicing, and who knows, maybe one or two might drop in your pocket.
Of course.
It's taking so long for the monies to come in. You can't have a competition in 2022, 2 years ago, and they're just getting paid right now. I mean, probably that's why we don't have a lot of people, willing to play for us. And remember, these are under 20 girls. They need this motivation. They need this encouragement. And I understand the money was just approved in January. It's unfortunate. Thank God it's being paid. Thank God they are finally getting what is owed to them. But I think we can do better than this going forward.
Okay, we can do better than this going forward. 12 billion bailout fund from President Ahmed Bola Tinubu to sports, and that is where this money has been paid to these girls 2 years ago, right there in Colombia, where the under-20 World Cup went down. But as Falconets crashed out of that competition in the quarter-final stages after 2-0 loss to the Netherlands, and it was a painful defeat also for the 20 guests. Most of them are playing with the Super Falcons right now. The likes of X-Star, Zide, though she was not picked by Randy Wardrum for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. All right, let's look at some transfers on the show this evening, and we'll start with the Super Eagles. This Super Eagles player, Super Eagles forward, that is Leicester City Kelechi Iheanacho. Sevilla close on Leicester City Kelechi Iheanacho deal. Good one. Because at some point I was thinking Kelechi Iheanacho might not find a club. For Wilfred Ndidi also was about moving out of the team, but his contract was extended with some good bonuses, and the man opted to stay back in England.
Yeah, I mean, Wilfred Ndidi is a superstar. I'm a big fan of the man. For Kelechi Iheanacho that we're talking about right now, I think it's unfortunate that Leicester City have chosen not to, give him a new deal. I still think he has a lot to give, but then you can't. I mean, at the point he has to move on. And now there's a news that he might be moving to Spain, which is, in my opinion, very good. And there's a vacancy in the striker spot for Sevilla, where he's.
But choice of Sevilla for Kelechi Iheanacho.
Well, to be honest, Sevilla might offer him, better opportunities, European competition. I mean, Iheanacho, he's a superstar as far as Nigeria is concerned, and he has proven himself in England over time. He's played for Man City, he's done very well for himself. Played for Leicester, done very well for himself. I mean, at some point, I don't know if he still holds the record, but he was the highest goal scorer in FA Cup history.
Yes, of course, when they won it.
You have to put some respect on his name. And the question of whether or not he can do better than Sevilla, well, Sevilla fans might not really appreciate that, because it seems as though
can he displace Enshenyiri, the Moroccan?
There are news that he is moving on to another club, so there might be a vacancy for Iheanacho.
Okay.
Whether he can displace him, why not? Why can't he? And then he has an advantage where he can play as a supporting striker. So why not?
All right, for Kelechi Iheanacho, he might just be playing in La Liga come next season. Sevilla are doing everything. They are closing on that deal. And probably, before you say Jack, Kelechi Iheanacho might just be at the Sanchez Pizjuan Stadium in Spain, doing business, putting on that jersey, that white with a touch of red, join the likes of Jesus Navas in that club. All right, moving ahead this evening on transfers, Aston Villa, a team that will be playing in the Champions League next season. Table's loan bid for Manchester City midfielder, let me say Manchester City forgotten midfielder, Calvin Phillips, because ever since this a fantastic player, I love so much when he was with Leeds United.
Yes.
But I think players make this mistake at some point in their career, going to a club where they know they can't find their feet.
Well, I think sometimes the offers might be tempting. You don't want to say no to an opportunity to play for Pep Guardiola, who some say might be one of the best coaches around right now. And he hasn't really cracked the team. And he had a loan spell last season with West Ham, which really turned out so great. But there is an opportunity for him at Aston Villa. I mean, they brought in Onana, but there's still a space for him. And hopefully, maybe he can, get back his form. I mean, we want to see the Leeds City Calvin Phillips back.
Okay, we want to see that Calvin Phillips, who plays with coach Marcelo Bielsa, the man they call the orator, the man who knows what coaching is all about. That is Marcelo Bielsa with Kevin Phillips, and want to see that in him again coming back to Aston Villa. Let's quickly take these last two on the show this evening before we go. Chelsea moves for Juventus forward Federico Chiesa. This guy has been on the news for quite some time, and let's quickly talk about this last one. It's your team. Arsenal confident to sign Sporting Lisbon forward Victor Gyökeres.
Yeah, well,
I know you're an Arsenal fan. You'll be happy because Arsenal is doing all they can to see if they can.
Of course, I'm happy Arsenal fan. Every Arsenal fan in the world is happy right now. If you had asked us when the season ended, what do you want? Everybody will have told you one defender, one midfielder, one striker. And it seems as though we are doing business and we're going to be bringing in. We've already almost secured a defender. A midfielder might be in the pipeline, and now a striker is coming in. I mean, every Arsenal fan is eating good. That's why we're all looking fresh.
Okay.
We're looking forward to next season.
Every Arsenal fan, we're looking forward to that from Sporting Lisbon. I think Sporting Lisbon has produced some of the great, biggest stars in the world, the likes of Luis Figo, CR7, Bruno Fernandes of Manchester United. I love mention them, Fabio and co. Came in the ranks from Sporting Lisbon, and this time around Arsenal wants to pick this one again. She is a Swedish striker playing in Sporting Lisbon, that is in Portugal, Premier Liga in Portugal. All right, that is what we'll be leaving it on the show this evening on Sports Update. Thanks Omanile Lassun for joining me, and for Arsenal, well, let's see how it goes.
It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to a great season with Arsenal, to be honest.
All right, that is it on the program. I am Emmanuel Fashimi. Say thanks for watching.
Thank you.